What if I told you the New York Giants led the NFL in sacks with 35 through the first 8 weeks of the 2024 season? The most of any team since the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars. And that pass rush, it got so much better this offseason. We'll dive into that on today's show, but first, I want to ask this question. Who leads the Giants in sacks this year? Which one of these monsters is going to have the most sacks for the Giants this upcoming season? Give me the number of the player you think will do it down in the comments section. You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for being here. There's a lot to be excited about for the New York Giants in the 2024 season. But one thing that should fire you up more than anything else is these four monsters right here. Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Abdul Carter, and Kayvon Thibodeaux. The Giants' pass rush has been dominant at OTAs. And I understand it's non-padded practice, and I understand it's non-contact, but we've all seen the clips. If you haven't, go to my Twitter, go to my Instagram, it's on there. Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeaux have been unblockable, and Dexter Lawrence hasn't even been playing. And this is a team that had 35 sacks through 8 games last year. That was number 1 in the NFL. That's the most of any team since the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars, who got to the AFC Championship. And they're much better. And you added Abdul Carter, the best pass rusher in the draft. If teams can't block this year, the Giants need to make them pay. Like, it's a foundational piece of football. If you can't block, you can't win. And the Giants need to make other teams that can't block pay for that. Like, this team was already special last year at the beginning of the year before the injuries to Dexter Lawrence and crew started to heat up. The Giants tallied 35 sacks for the first 8 weeks of the 2024 NFL season. That was the most by any team since the 2017 Jags. They have since added Abdul Carter, Chauncey Golston, and Darius Alexander. This pass rush is going to be scary good. This is an organization that knows what it's like to have a dominant pass rush. We've seen Justin Tuck. We've seen Michael Strahan. We've seen Osi Umenyiora. We've seen Matthias Kiwanuka. We've seen all those guys, JPP, all on the field at the same time. This organization has the best football player outside of Tom Brady to ever wear a helmet, and Lawrence Taylor. This team is getting back to the DNA and the foundation of who they are. The big blue wrecking crew, pinning their ears back and making life hell for opposing quarterbacks. I understand that Abdul Carter, Brian Burns, and Kayvon Thibodeaux all play the same position. But we all know about the NASCAR package. We all know that the Giants get multiple players on the field at the same time, and the Giants have to figure out a way to do that. You got to be creative, Shane Bowen. Get Abdul Carter out there with Brian Burns and with Kayvon Thibodeaux. And we've gotten kind of a sneak peek of how that's going to look. We've seen Abdul Carter lined up over the defensive tackle. We saw last year Brian Burns drop into coverage a little bit. He should have had a pick 6 in week 2, or week 3 was that against the Cleveland Browns that he dropped, where he also had a strip sack in that game. Like, we've seen Abdul lined up at defensive tackle, giving Aaron Stinney work. We've seen him lined up all over the field already, playing off the edge, lining up in the A-gap, playing off ball. Like, he is a chess piece, and they're going to move him around the field at all costs. And it's good to see that the Giants are thinking of ways to do that. Jordan Renata of ESPN wrote this, saying using Carter in specific packages at a more traditional inside linebacker spot is the most likely option for Bowen to get all three on the field together. Carter played inside linebacker his first 2 seasons, totaling over 12 sacks at Penn State. With the Giants, he's mixing in there at practice and specific pass rush situations. I want all 3 on the field on passing downs, accompanied by the best defensive tackle, nose tackle in the NFL, Dexter Lawrence. I loved the quote from Brian Burns where he was talking about the defense. He's like, yeah, we got Abdul Carter. Like, it's going to be tough. You got to block Carter. You got to block me and Thibodeaux. And he's like, oh, yeah, and we got a Dex. You don't have a Dex. We have a Dex. Like, Shane Bowen, you've got all the ingredients to cook a 5-star meal, man. You need to be a Michelin chef this year. You have to cook it up on the defensive side of the ball. There's really no excuse either. Like, there's talented players at all three levels of this defense, and the core of this defense is the front seven. And you got to make life hell for opposing quarterbacks. For the Giants to be good this year, for the Giants to be who I, and we all hope they can be, they got to be carried by the defense. They've got to be one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Like, it's that simple. The defense is what's going to win games for the Giants this year. Offense got better. You added Russell Wilson. You brought back some players on the offensive line, but you got to be elite on the defensive side of the ball, and that starts with Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence has to be healthy this year. The last 2 years, he had his season cut short due to injuries. I think you can make the argument that there is no bigger gap in the NFL from the best player at a position to the second best player at a position than the gap there is between Dexter Lawrence and the second best nose tackle. When you talk about nose tackle pressures the last 3 years, how many pressures have you totaled in the last 3 years from the nose tackle spot? Third place, Jordan Davis. I think a lot of people would say Jordan Davis is a hell of a football player. I think a lot of people would say that Vita Vea is a hell of a football player. You could put the number of pressures that Vita Vea and Jordan Davis together, what's that, 45? And double it, and it is still not what Dexter Lawrence has done. I don't want people to take this man for granted. I don't want people to think that there are Dexter Lawrences that are willing to walk through the doors. There's not. He's the most unique defensive player in the NFL. I think there's an argument to be made he is the best defensive player in the NFL, and we are lucky. If he can give us 15-plus games this year and do what he does, which is reaching north of 50-plus pressures and getting 7.5-plus sacks when he plays 16 games, I'll be very, very happy with him, and I will be happy with this defense. You can't see me, but I'm doing the sexy Dexy dance, and I better be seeing that a lot of Sundays this year. I also want to make this abundantly clear. It pisses me off the disrespect that Brian Burns gets. I truly think he has officially become the most underrated player in the NFL. Everyone talks about the Rams, the LA Rams, as the smartest organization in the NFL, most forward-thinking organization in the NFL. The Los Angeles Rams offered 2 first-round picks for Brian Burns. That's how good they think they are. And I think people were sleeping on him. Played through multiple injuries last year. Everyone talked about it. He had a groin, he had a hip, he had a back. He was always hurt. But he played every single game because he didn't quit when he could have. 8.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles, 8 pass breakups, 42 stops. Marshall, what is a stop? A stop is considered a tackle that results in a negative play for the defense, for the offense. He was second in the NFL in those tackles. I think that's pretty damn impressive. He also had 61 pressures, 42 QB hurries, and he had the 12th best pass rush grade in the NFL. Shout out to Talking Giants. Shout out to my guy, Justin Pennick. Go give him a follow. He made this awesome graphic, and it just shows a little bit better of a perspective on how special Brian Burns was. He had the 5th most pressures under 3 seconds last year. And out of all edge rushers with 300 pass rushing snaps, Burns has the fastest average time to pressure in the NFL. When you close your eyes and you say, brain, draw me a picture of an SEC pass rusher, it's Brian Burns. I don't think people understand how good he is. And he's kind of become a punching bag, I feel like, for the Giants fans because he's got a lot of expectations. $150 million, you gave up a second-round pick. This guy is special. This guy is damn good at football. And he's going to show everybody that again this year. After he had one of the best seasons in the NFL last year, it just didn't get the hype and recognition it could have because sometimes it's not easy to see defensive line sacks. Sacks are easy to digest, but just like Kayvon Thibodeaux, who had 11.5 sacks a couple of years ago, that was actually his worst season in the NFL. And he actually just had his best season in the NFL, and he only had 5.5 sacks. There's more to being a defensive edge and a pass rusher than just the sack total. I also think Kayvon Thibodeaux is in store for a breakout year for a couple of reasons. His best year in the NFL was last year, but we all know how this works. It's contract time. He's trying to get a payday. He looks bigger. He's put on muscle. He's getting stronger. And he knows the best thing for Kayvon Thibodeaux is to get paid and to get paid as a New York Giant. Because if you're a successful football player and you're a once a Giant, always a Giant, only a Giant, you are NFL royalty. I think we've all seen the people that have walked through those halls in 1925 Giants Drive that have just been put into a different stratosphere because they're New York Giants. Shout out to PFF. Let's look at some grades. His pass rush grades, his run defense grades. They were the best this past year. But Marshall, he didn't have the most sacks. Why would that be? Because there's more to being a good edge rusher than just the number of sacks you put together. He had the best pass rush grade and the best ranking of his career this past year. The run defense, second best, but still solid. This is someone I think is going to take a big leap this year with some pressure being taken off of him. PFF has an awesome stat out there. It's a PRP, pass rush production score. It puts together pressures, sacks, batted balls, QB hits, all the things that mattered into one number. Kayvon Thibodeaux's rookie year ranked as the 42nd best PRP score, then 31st, then 27th. Growth and growth. Kayvon Thibodeaux could be a top 20 PRP player in 2025. That's going to be big for this defense. And just like the PRP score goes up, pass rush win rate doubled. But Marshall, he had the most sacks of his career in 2013. Well, he more than doubled his pass rush win rate in 2024. The growth for Kayvon Thibodeaux needs to continue to be there, and I think he's going to have his best season in the NFL. And let's not forget about that bad man we took with the number 3 overall pick. I think there's been a lot of focus on Dart. There's been a lot of focus on Russell Wilson. This guy's scary. Like, it is scary how good he already is. The way he moves, the force he plays with, the strength he has, the football IQ, the motor. Like, I don't want people to forget how special of a guy this guy is going to be. And I hope he reminds everybody. The Broncos led the NFL in sacks last year with 63. If I get 15-plus games out of Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Dexter Lawrence, and Abdul Carter, I'm kind of expecting for the New York Giants to break that number. And let's not forget about Darius Alexander, who I think is going to be an impact player as a rookie, 24 years old. Let's not forget about Chauncey Golston, who was an impact player for the Dallas Cowboys the last couple of years. This Giants pass rush is going to be special, and that's how they have to win games. That's the formula. But it starts with these 4 horsemen: 0, 97, 51, and 5. You want to win football games next year? These 4 guys, they got to show up. I'll ask you again, who leads this team in sacks? When the season's all said and done, which one of these 4 men are going to have the most sacks on the year? Sound off for me. And make sure you are following me on social media. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at @MarshallGreen_. The Giants are getting back to what it means to be New York Giants and play New York Giants football, and I'm pumped up about it. Appreciate y'all. If you could, made it this far in the video, hit that thumbs up icon, and we'll see you later.